What's up, film family? Welcome to the Film Room podcast. My name's Scott.
My name's Dion.
And today we're doing F1. F1 is here. And in this episode, we're going to have our initial thoughts, get listener contributions. We're going to dive into the specifics of the movie. And then, of course, we're going to have our Filmmies. So if you're new, that's the breakdown of the episode that we do. Welcome to the show. If you're new. And if you're not new, welcome to the show. We're glad that you're here.
Also, welcome back.
Welcome back. So first things first, F1, general thoughts.
General thoughts.
Okay. All right. So I'll give a little bit of context here. So if you're just listening to audio, we just saluted to the not real Army general named Thoughts. So this is a bit from How I Met Your Mother, a TV show that we both enjoy. So so this is I don't know, our new thing that we're trying on, general thoughts. So
no, it's fun. It's staying. I don't care. It's staying. I don't care what you say. That's even if it didn't work out the first time, I'd be like, we're doing it next week. But as far as F1, I loved it. Like it's probably one of my, and obviously there's some recency bias, so I had to actually look back, but it's probably one of like my favorite sports movies of like recent. I had to look back and see like what are some other sports movies. I don't be watching sports movies all the time.
Does this count as a sports movie?
Yeah, Formula One's on a sport. You're about to get some people heated right now.
No, you're right. Yeah, I guess. You're right.
They train.
Yeah. I mean, you could train for anything though. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a sport.
I mean, I think it's the how dangerous it is too. That adds the level of like, okay, they're putting their, they're not training for. No diss to anyone that plays chess, but chess, it's a different.
That was literally what came to my mind too. I was going to say like you could train for chess, but
it's mental. Yeah. It's considered a sport, yeah.
Is it?
Now we're just for.
All right, sorry. I
you know what I mean?
Yeah, go ahead.
Continue. Well, no, to get back.
F1, I think it is a sport. It is a sport. It's a sports movie.
Okay, yeah. I know what you mean, because it's not like this physical. Like we're gonna go into this because we can't pass this now that we're in it.
All right.
It's not like this physical you tackle or hockey, like they're hitting each other, basketball. Like there's contact in it. It's not a contact sport in that sense, but there's a racing element. It's not their legs doing it, but they're controlling the cars. So they're controlling it. There's that competitive advantage thing, and they have to get physically in shape for this. You can't have a weak neck, as we'll get into later. Like you have to, and then the risk factor is higher than any sport. It's higher than basketball. It's higher than football, and it's higher than hockey. The risk factor.
Those are the only three other sports in the world.
No, with the highest risk that I can say off jump. You want me to list every sport? Okay, there's a bull riding. No, but just like as the main big three that we consume at least.
The risk is high. You're not wrong. I mean, I would say like MMA is high risk. I would say like competitive skydiving. Is that even a thing?
Yeah, but as the ones I listed, let's keep it grounded in the ones I said at least.
All right.
Is there any chances? There is a chance, but how high are the chances of you exploding into flames in those other sports?
It's quite low.
Low. And in this sport, you can. People train to do this, and there's a high chance of death, I think. So I'm gonna give it to them.
You're right. It is a sport. It is. Yeah, I agree. I just had to ask the question.
It's a fair question. If you asked me this question before I saw Ford versus Ferrari in this movie, I would have a different question for you, because I probably had less respect for the sport, because I was like, man, they're driving, bro. It's not a sport.
Yeah.
But it's a sport.
Yeah,
I'm on board with it. It's a sport,
and it's a great movie. You love the movie,
and it's a great movie. I love the movie.
I agree. I liked it a lot too. It was great. I was like, this is Top Gun Maverick. And it's funny because the people that made Top Gun Maverick are the same people that made this.
Yeah, the same
producer, director, writer. It's all the same.
Oh, I didn't realize producer too.
Well, one of the producers. Like, there's multiple.
No, but I mean that's collaborate. That still means something. Exactly, they all worked on another movie too. That's cool. That's crazy.
And I didn't even know this going into the movie that it was the same. It was the same people. But as I was watching it, I was like, holy crap! This is literally Top Gun Maverick, but instead of planes, it's race cars, and it's awesome. It's got the old and the young guy, that they don't like each other, but they end up working together and forming a bond at the end. But to me, I think this one kind of earns a little more credit in that respect, because it doesn't have the nostalgia of past characters or past storylines to pull from, like that Top Gun Maverick did.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's a good point. Yeah, and part of my excitement for this movie was I knew, like, what was the one? Brad Pitt. Huge Brad Pitt fan.
Yeah.
If you're watching the video, I got Fincher behind me. Book Fight Club's like one of my favorite movies. If you're new
Brad
here,
Pitt's in
if
that
you
movie.
exactly Brad Pitt's in that movie. If you're new here, I'm a huge Brad Pitt fan. That's like my guy. Now you know. But was Brad Pitt being in it? And then the second point, I was like, oh, it's the dude that directed Top Gun Maverick. I was like, I love that movie. If he can somehow do, like, at least visually speaking, what he did in that movie in this, which I know he's gonna try to push it the way they pushed it, like visually in that movie, I was like, I'm in. Like as soon as I heard it, all I saw is director Brad Pitt's face, F1. I'm in.
Run it. Yeah. Bought your
Run
ticket
it.
already. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see as well, like visually, like you say, like F1 race cars and fighter jets, like shooting wise, you could do the same thing. A lot of like close ups mounted to the plane or car in this case. You could have POV shots that they have in both
Yeah.
those movies. Like there are a lot of similarities, but story wise, there's a lot of similarities as well. And like you said, Top Gun Maverick was an awesome movie, was super well received. So to me, honestly, when I was watching the movie and I was like, and I was noticing all the similarities, I was like, I guess they saw Top Gun Maverick, saw how well it did, and was like, let's do that. And then I saw afterwards that it was all the same people. I was like, oh, never mind. They like, they're literally, it's just all the same people. They just made another movie, and it was awesome again.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't even realize that comparison to Top Gun Maverick, even with knowing that it was at least the same director. But yeah, it's very like similar story beats.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. That's a good point.
I think it was also, it was really funny. Like
Yeah,
this was, I was, I mean, almost every movie, unless it's like I was gonna say like a horror movie or like a deep drama, but even those, like almost every movie has some level of
yeah.
humor, and I was expecting some in this, but there was a lot of funny moments, and I was it was more than I expected, and I was actually laughing out loud like multiple times throughout this movie.
Yeah, no, same. Like I actually had like a pretty good like crowd atmosphere too. Like it was actually
Hmm.
packed. I didn't expect it actually. To the point where I almost didn't at least get like decent seats because I bought my tickets like day of instead of like buying in advance something because I was like, I know people are gonna care. But I was like, hey, people show up for Brad Pitt, yo, they know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really funny. I actually like I loved it for like a bunch of reasons, obviously. Like the main comparison, like to me, was like it perfectly taps into like that creative nature that I love from watching specific movies where um it's a reason why I like Kevin Smith. I think I've talked about him before. He directed
Okay.
the movie Clerks and like
Yeah.
Mallrats and stuff. And his movies are very much like you take something like this isn't movie isn't a niche. F1's pretty big, but like he usually takes like niches like okay, these two dudes work at a convenience store and that's what the whole movie's going to be. These two dudes life going to the mall and that's the whole movie. You just like take this one scenario and it's like every little thing, little stereotype about like working in the mall and like all these things. Like for example, like you worked at Dollarama, right? Like if you made it, it'd be weird, but if you made like a Dollarama movie, but you already know like all like the things that like suck about working for Dollarama, the things that are
Yeah.
good about it. Like so you'd have characters like eating candy or whatever, do all these things, like all these little niches, like oh, this is what it's like to work at Dollarama, but like make a actual interesting story around it. Like he likes to do that, and then with F1, I was like, I'm not a big F1 fan, like as we were kind of mentioning earlier as we were debating, but I was like, but that's why I'm so into this movie. I get to
Yeah.
see Brad Pitt, a third mention now, and and I get to see him in this movie that I don't know how they train and stuff like that. I don't know what goes on in the pit. I didn't really know how much of a team sport it was and like all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like everything that
Yeah.
goes into it. So it's cool seeing all that.
Yeah, that's a really good point about that was one thing that I wanted to mention was I think they did a good job of teaching non F1
Yeah.
fans just about how this stuff worked. Like the races were super awesome,
Hmm.
which is what I expected coming into this movie. I loved all the little tricks that Sonny was doing to like get ahead,
Oh yeah.
to block the people ahead and help his teammate.
Hmm.
Like you said, like the teamwork aspect. Like I always knew that F1 was a team, but to me, I didn't really understand
How important
how you
each
can,
member was and stuff like
yeah,
that.
and like how you can actually do that, like out on the race or out on the track. Aren't you just, you're just trying to get first? You know what I, like?
Yeah.
There's no
100%.
like, there's not. To me, I was like, what is the strategy here? Like you go out and you race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just what more is there to it? But there is so much more. Even with the like the having warm tires and like
Yeah.
the state of your tires, how important that is. I didn't know about any of this stuff, but they communicated really well. and it was super cool.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I loved all that
yeah,
stuff.
no, that's a really good point too. Like, not knowing all the strategic things was like really like a thing for me that I took from this movie of like, damn, like as goofy as it sounds, I'm like, okay, I know they do like how many like a crazy ton of laps, so it's just like they're just driving, driving, driving. My only, my only like knowing of F1 and any of that stuff is, or like F1 or NASCAR is freaking from
Mm.
watching Cars.
Okay.
And in Cars, like you don't really get much. You don't really get all that. They're not giving you all this little
No.
behind the scenes stuff. Cars is a great movie, by the way. I'm not, or anyone thinking I'm shitting on Cars. That movie's great, but they're not teaching you the sport.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this one did. I mean, because this one was in collaboration with F1,
Yeah,
so I think it almost is an ad for F1 as well. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure their fans are going to skyrocket after this. There'll be a lot of people that, like us, didn't really know anything about it, checked it out, and were like, "Oh, this is super cool," and then they'll be fans for life. So, like, this is part of what they wanted to do. But yeah, that was a super cool aspect. Do you have anything else before we jump into the family meeting?
before we get in the family meeting, no, I think that's it. I think it's time to. I think it's time to talk to the family.
I don't have friends. I got family.
So tough. So tough. All right, time for the family meeting. As you all know, you are part of the film family, and we like to get your contributions on the show. So this week on our Instagram story, at the Film Room Pod, by the way, if you want to contribute to these episodes, I asked, what are you hoping to see going into this movie? And we got our boy Kobe,
Mhm.
no relation.
No, really. Okay.
He said kind of what we were already saying, like the awesome visuals that come with this director's skill set. Top Gun was a banger. So like you said, he was expecting kind of the visuals that he took from there, did the same thing here. And I don't know if he's seen it yet, but I hope it delivered for him.
Yeah, I hope so.
I know you said for
Yeah.
you liked the visuals. I agree. Like, this movie looked awesome.
Oh, really did. And part of me is mad because like I wanted to see it in IMAX, but like the timing didn't work out. And I was like, you know what, maybe because Eloise was trying to convince me, like, help me feel better. She's like, I don't know, is it like an IMAX movie though? Like, is it like, I don't know why I'm making her sound like that, but that's how I'm just gonna make her
Yeah,
sound.
just that.
I don't know.
Is this an
Is this an
IMAX
IMAX?
movie?
No, but I was like, no, it's not like Dune or like Sinners, where like they shot it like on film, whatever. It's just like it was filmed for IMAX. But I was like, you're probably right. I don't need to go to IMAX theater. I can't make one anyway. And then after I watched it, I was like, man, I should have went to IMAX. I should have traveled further. I can
You
rewatch it.
go again.
I can
go
rewatch
again
it. No, 100%.
because also the thing about IMAX that I think is also kind of underrated is the sound.
Oh
So
yeah.
like the sound of the cars accelerating and the soundtrack to this movie bangs too. So
Yeah.
like all that stuff also enhanced. I watched it in IMAX and
Jealous.
it's pretty dope.
I'm jealous. I got to
It's pretty
rewatch
dope.
it. I'll rewatch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's the only one that responded to our story,
Okay.
which is fine.
Yeah,
We
that's cool.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Kobe,
Thanks,
as
Kobe.
always.
Yeah, always. No relation.
But I also wanted to shout out Bobby Absher
Okay.
on YouTube. So he commented on our last episode, which was Materialists.
Okay,
No.
cool. Oh no. Yeah.
Was Materialist our last episode?
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Material. No, Stand By Me.
That's it. Stand by me. Stand by. I was like, I swear I'm forgetting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stand by me. He said, I cannot believe that your channel hasn't popped off yet. Y'all make very good content. Keep up the good work, guys. Love it.
Hey, appreciate you. Say his name again, sorry.
Appreciate you. Bobby Absher, you are a
Bobby
certified
Absher.
member of the film family.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, I was gonna hit the sound effect, and I was like, oh, he did it.
100%.
All right,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we
Shout
always
out,
we
bro.
always say if you leave a review, we're gonna shout you out.
Yeah.
And this is just a YouTube comment, but it's a review.
No.
It's the same
So let
thing.
me strike that back. He said that it's not just a YouTube comment. It's just yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I just in the sense of like the medium, it's not an official like review on Spotify.
But we take
or Apple
everything.
But that's what I'm saying, and it is a review.
Yeah.
Just because it came in the form of a YouTube comment, it's still a review.
Exactly.
So,
No, 100%. So that's a 5-star review as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Bobby.
Appreciate you, bro.
And then finally, we gotta shout out our new friends,
Oh, of course.
our new family. We don't have
Yeah,
friends,
that's
we have
true.
family. At Reely. So this is a daily online game in which you create a reel linking two movies together using only actors and movies. And Dion and I, you might have seen on our socials on Monday, we chose the two movies from the game on Monday. and we're going to solve it right now. We're going to do our own solve. I hope you guys went and you played the game and you solved it yourself, but we're going to do ours right now. I came up with mine beforehand. Dion's going to do it on the fly. I was not confident.
I
enough
want to
do
try it
that.
out. I want to see if I
respect him. I respect you for coming in blind. I respect that.
Yeah.
So we stuck with F1.
Yeah.
But we got to start with Talladega Nights. So the description is maybe a little bit unclear, but from what we're about to do, you'll understand kind of how the game works. So Talladega Nights to F1.
All right.
Go for it.
All right, let me talk myself through. Okay, so we have Will Ferrell. That's who I'm gonna start with. So I want to go through Will Ferrell. I'm just gonna gotta find my way to F1. So now we're in. Let's go to. No, it's not a good movie to go to. Damn. Okay, no. Let's go to. He was in Megamind. Not Megamind.
Okay.
Is it Megamind? That's the name of the movie, right?
Yeah,
he was in Megamind.
So. Yeah.
And Brad Pitt's in Megamind.
Is he?
Yeah. And then F1.
Did you get a perfect direct.
Let's go.
Let me fact.
I'm pretty sure he's in Megamind. Will Ferrell's in Megamind.
Will Ferrell is and Brad. Damn, you're right.
Let's go.
So you got a perfect 3. I don't know what they call it. A 3 reel. A 3.
I don't know what they call it. Yeah, I don't know.
3 chain. 3 chain.
We got a perfect 3 chain. Yeah, that's right off the. Nice. That's right there.
Well, like I said, I came in pre-prepared, and that's still better than what I did. So, but I don't know. Is the goal of the game to get it fastest or long? Because we were talking to them, and they were like, some people try to get like 100, which is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I think the fun is just doing it. You know what I mean? Like talking. True. Like I think it's definitely fun to do by yourself, but it's also fun like talking it through. Like you do it, I do it, and then we talk about like what was your process.
Yeah,
and we get
here.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna give you. I
want to hear your process
real quick. So I also went Will Ferrell.
Okay.
From for Talladega Nights, and my mind immediately went to Anchorman.
Okay.
So I went Anchorman, and then who else is in Anchorman? I went Paul Rudd, who's in Avengers: Civil War. You know who else is in Avengers: Civil War? A lot of people. But
yeah, I was gonna say a lot.
I went Don Cheadle.
Okay.
Because I wanted to get to Ocean's 11. Brad Pitt, F1.
That's good. That's good.
That's the way I did it. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's 7. Good. That's really good. And I think hearing your long process is fun too. It's fun when you get it when it's quick, but it's also be like, how far can I stretch this? Like you're almost testing yourself. Like, can I pull myself that far back and then reel myself back in?
Yeah, good. I immediately went Anchorman. Well, I don't know. My thought was, I was like, okay, how do I get to Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
I was like, just because he has so many movies, I felt like that was easy. And then I thought of what else is he in. I kind of went backwards. So I was like, Ocean's 11. There's a lot of big people in there. And then I thought of Don Cheadle in Civil War and the Paul Rudd. I don't know. Paul Rudd and Don Cheadle kind of jumped in my mind at the same time. And I was. And the MCU is going to help with any of these reels. The MCU 100%. Is going to be perfect. Those Avengers movies have so many people.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I was actually going to go a similar route too, because I think initially I was going to do Amy Adams. Like in my head, I immediately I was thinking like Amy Adams is in that movie, and then I was going to link her to Arrival, and Jeremy Renner's in that movie. So I was like, okay, and let me link him to like Avengers Endgame. So now I have a wide cast. Because that is how you help yourself sometimes. I'm like, as long as I get myself to a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie or something big franchise.
Because you know what you could do then too? If you get to Avengers, you could go Josh Brolin. And then you could go No Country for Old Men. Javier Bardem, F1.
Ah, there you go. And
there's so many ways you could play the game, man.
That's how you do it, man. Yeah, man. It feels good when you get there too, regardless how long it takes. That's right,
yeah.
Or how quickly you get it.
Yeah. That was cool, man.
This game was fun, man.
This game is sick.
Yeah, I appreciate them reaching out to us because that's how we collaborate with these guys. Like they just reached out to us, like we talked about it, and we generally love the game. Like we tried it out; it's fun. We went through a couple times here, and it's dope.
Yeah. All right, so that does it for the family meeting. Next, we're gonna jump into. I called this the deep dive. Right. So we're just jumping into the specifics of the movie, making our points, breaking it down. I mean, I feel like there's not a lot to break down. Sure, there's some like symbolism and a lot of stuff to go through, but to me, it's just like, this was cool. This
Yeah,
wasn't so
yeah,
cool. This I like. This I didn't like. But I have a question, and you mentioned already like 16 times that you're a big Brad Pitt guy.
yeah.
So I wanted to ask you like kind of where that stemmed from. Like, was it like the first movie that you saw from me? Like, yo, this guy is a star, or like, do you just think he's a great actor, or does he pick great movies? Well, I know he picks great movies. He's in a lot of
Yeah.
great movies. Like, what is it that really drew you to him?
I think what it was is like I don't know how. Well, I do know how I got it. I was gonna say I don't know how I got specifically into movies, but like the first couple movies I started watching that I really remember is Scream and Fight Club. And like
Mm.
everybody, a lot of people just like they watch movies and they just like watch them passively, and they're like, yeah, I like movies, but they're not like they don't start a movie podcast. But
Yeah.
I just always noticed myself like rewatching those movies back, and I was like, oh man, this Fight Club movie so good. Like, how can I branch out and try to like watch more movies like this? Like, AK, like, cause like noticing that like there's tiers to movies. Not every movie's as good as this. Like, in my personal opinion. So I was like, all right,
Mhm.
let me look who's in this movie. What makes this movie good? I was like, Brad Pitt is really good in this movie. I like the way it looks and everything. So that's how I later got into like directors and stuff. But I like Edward Norton too. And then I started just looking at Brad Pitt's like IMDb, and I saw so many movies that were like in like 8 7s, and I was like, oh snap! So this is an anomaly. And then I watched
Yeah.
Seven next, and I was like, okay, this guy's got something here. This is another good movie. And I think I can't remember what the third movie was after that. I think maybe it was 12 Monkeys. And he was yeah, and then everything I kept jumping at like World War Z, like that became later on, and then it just keeps going. Inglorious Bastards,
Mhm.
like to me, he's just I don't think he's the perfect actor. Like no one's got like 100% hit rate or anything like that. But I just like attached myself to his movies. I was like, okay, this guy's a guy. This guy's a guy. And then I realized Leo's a guy. And then I started realizing a bunch of guys and girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a pretty good explanation. I was just curious,
Mm.
genuinely. Because to me, like, I think he's a good actor. I don't think he's a
Yeah.
great actor,
Yeah.
but I do think that he makes great movies, which is
Yeah.
kind of like contradictory to what I just said, that he's not a great actor. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. I just think it's not always his performance that makes the movies, but maybe it's also like behind the scenes. Like he's been in the industry so long that he can like help directors or producer or whoever be like, oh, maybe we could try this, maybe we could try that. You know what I mean? So even just little things like that doesn't necessarily he doesn't get credit for on screen in the acting performance that he is involved with, and just I don't know, he makes good movies. Like that is undebatable.
Yeah.
So
And to me, that's why I like him so much. It's like it's you prove my point right there, which like I have notes about it, and I knew this even before this movie that he's heavily involved in his characters. Like you go back to Ocean's 11, we talk about the things like his character is just like snacking. Like in this movie, Card's always flicking cards and stuff like that. Like he's usually in his early in his career, you take some like advice and stuff like that, but he was always been a collaborative person, especially in this movie. He's always like, I think my character should do this. Like he's there. Like some people come in, it's like, all right, what's my character? What do you want me to do? All right, cool. Let me play around
yeah,
with that. But he's there as like, I think my character should do this. Like, I think my character should do this. And there was even the fact that Tarantino, like in certain movies, will listen to him because he's very much like, you say these words, do not change anything. And he's always like,
yeah,
what do you think about this? Like the fact that Tarantino like allows him to change shit, but he doesn't let anybody else to change shit means he values what he adds. These little nit things, the small things that adds to a character. This makes the characters unique and memorable. Like the fact
yeah,
that he was throwing, like the fact that his character was someone that was a gambler and always kept like in their past, and then it keeps cards with him, almost like a reminder thing. And like everything he's doing, like he's flicking the cards like on his spare time, like he's just playing with cards. And like it's that little thing of like, okay, yeah, this dude was a gambler, but if he didn't do that, it's like you kind of just forget about it. But it's always in your face as a reminder. It's like, oh yeah, that's why, because that's why he does this. That's why he likes gambling. That's why he's in this. Like they don't want you to forget about that past life. They show you that like people grow. You know what I mean? It's not like that there's not going to be like any remnants of like that last person he used to be. And he always has these things that sometimes aren't even explained. Like characters just doing little things. Like a character you might have that just like has like an itch and they never talk about it, but like you notice it, like because it might be like a very like not a subtle thing where it's just like the character always
yeah.
does this, and it's just like it's just a little thing that adds more to the character.
I mean, even the cards, they don't really explain it. Like, no one asks him, like, "Hey, why do you always have a card?" Well, I guess actually Joshua does. He's like, why do you never look at the card?" But he doesn't even answer
Yeah.
it. So like, he kind of asks that question, so they don't. But I guess the only way that it was explained to us was when they have that poker game. And he was like, "Yeah, my dad taught me how to play and everything." And he's always looking at that picture of him and his dad. So I think it's kind of how they explain it without explaining it.
Yeah.
Of, this is his connection to his dad, his past. I like that kind of that stuff that they added in. I didn't know that Brad Pitt specifically was who. I mean, you don't know if the cards
Yeah, I don't know
thing
if the
was
Cars
specifically
thing
Brad Pitt,
specifically was
but
him,
just the
but
fact that he does this
yeah.
on movies, I didn't know that. But you're right, that's impressive, and I thought that was cool. Like the cards and the tennis balls, and even just like him running outside, like this, where the like Joshua and the rest of the F1 people, I guess,
Yeah.
drivers, they all work out. Like Josh was using all the technology in his workouts. He's using the simulator. Like this is another way that the old versus young thing that there was visually communicated, and I really liked it. And they kind of adopt each other's styles a little bit. Like they take pieces from each other. Like Sonny starts using the simulator,
Yeah.
and Joshua grabs the balls and he starts trying the balls, and he's working outside and stuff, running outside. So this was just another aspect that I think like added to that old versus young thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I thought that was another aspect of the movie I really enjoyed too, where they especially with like the training thing too. Like that's another thing I liked about the movie too, because I'm someone for people that don't know, I used to be a personal trainer and I still really love fitness. I still work out all the time, and I'm always interested in seeing those things too. That was a part where I was like getting to see them do the training, like use the resistance bands like on the necks. And it's like funny because like Josh is like using the machine and everything, and there's all like the tech. He's got all the things on him, and then you just see, like you said, the old school stuff where you're just like going into an ice bath he puts like in the back somewhere, and like him
Yeah.
doing like neck training where that was a dope shot. Like him just like sitting up from his neck muscles, like
On the
just from his
bed.
head on the bed. I'm like,
That
that's
was crazy.
tough. I
Yeah.
know I couldn't do that. I'd break my damn neck just trying to set up.
Yeah. I guess Brad Pitt, he would have had to work out a little bit to try that. Or
Yeah,
they
he
were
looked
like,
pretty jacked
okay,
in this movie.
make sure we start rolling. And then, all right, we're gonna hold you up, Brad. We're gonna drop you for 1 second, get the shot, and then grab you again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know exactly
Yeah, I
how they
don't know
got
how they
that
did
shot,
that.
but because I do know that is an F1 thing.
Yeah,
Like
no,
they're all super strong in the neck, just with like the G forces of turns and stuff. It makes sense. And if
yeah.
you have a helmet on, that's adding weight to it. Like, makes sense.
No, 100%. It's something that like I've heard, but then I've never seen the training for it. Like this is the first time
Yeah.
I've ever seen like like what they actually do to strengthen their necks. Because when I hear that like they have really strong necks, they train their necks. I'm like, hey yo, what are they doing, bro? Like how are they training their necks?
The
So that is
swinging
good
neck.
to
That's how they
actually.
do it.
It's
Yeah.
actually good to like actually see how they train.
I have seen the one where there's like the harness, I guess, on their head, and then someone's like pulling their head
Mm.
and they're pushing against it. That I've seen, but I think that's kind of all you could do. I didn't know about the bed thing. That makes sense though. Just using
Yeah, just
own
using
body
your
mass
body.
to train.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like
Yeah,
doing a plank for your neck, basically.
yeah, exactly. So the old thing, or the old versus young thing, I thought that like by the end of it, like this is not anything that we've never seen before. Like
Yeah.
the old guy and the young guy, and they don't want to work together because their ways of working
Mm.
and going through things are different, and then eventually they come together at the end. We've seen this a million
Yeah.
times, but to me, I thought it felt really earned
Yeah.
in this movie. Like we have they start gaining some traction as Sonny's like helping him out in the races. So Joshua's kind of warming up to him. He's like, okay, he's being a team player. And the stuff that he's doing is working. Um, and then Joshua has this crash. So Sonny starts to rise up the rank, gain popularity. So he gets pissed off, right? Because he's very selfish as a character.
Hmm.
So that was maintained throughout the movie, which I thought was good. And then Sonny has his crash. Joshua starts to feel for him a little bit. They start adopting their kind of training methods, and then they work together, and they even sacrifice for each other at the end. So to me, just the way the movie went, like it felt like it was earned. Like it wasn't just like they hate each other. They're going through these races, and then just by at some scene, the writers decide that they're good now. Like to me, like the ingredients were there to justify how the characters grew and reached this point.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. It's like I think it definitely benefits from the longer runtime with that too. Because at first when I saw the runtime, like I actually didn't know how long the movie was. Like, oh damn, this movie is kind of long. But when you like talk about how like it's earned that relationship, like being apart and then coming together, you need that time because like if you have a short runtime, it might just seem, unless you do like a certain days later, like 2 months later kind of thing.
Or a montage.
Yeah, do
Montage
kind of
always helps.
montage. Yeah, that does help. But I feel like in this especially, it's like I didn't feel like the classic thing. Like it was just one thing that made him switch over. You're like, you know what? I actually kind of like this guy. Like it took it took gradual time. You know, it wasn't just immediate.
And it wasn't just like immediately from hot to cold. Like he was, like I said, they started to warm up a little bit as Sonny's helping him out, and then the crash happens, and Joshua's on the sidelines. So he comes back down because he sees Sonny gaining popularity and he gets pissed off again. Then he comes back and he's got the glasses on. He comes back. He's like, "Yeah, I'm back in town, baby. Like this is always my team." That was tough right there. But, and then they have to work their way back up again. And then Sonny's crash kind of is the catalyst for that. They have the poker game and I feel like there was a lot communicated in that scene as well. Like Joshua as well has not only in the way he works in that young style, but also the fact that he's very into his image and social media and all this stuff that Sonny doesn't care about. Like that was another difference that they kind of had to work through. And in that poker scene was a good way of, again, making it feel earned.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's like a nice little subtle way of adding in like some like what's it called, motivational thing in there too. You know, it's like, oh, stop paying attention to social media. You know, like it's just noise. And then it like stuck with them. We're like, yeah, you're right. It's just noise, like that kind of thing. I also liked the whole like media training like aspect of it too. I thought that was just hilarious. Like how you just turn it on and off. Like what a heck of a race. I can't even remember exactly what it was. That was a real barn burner. So stupid. I'm like, that's how they think the world thinks he sounds. All they see on social media is that.
Yeah, and then like there's even we get a couple shots of him like he's standing there upright, like super strong, and he's just pushing a vacuum. That's why this movie was hilarious, dude.
Yeah, I know, really was.
And then Sonny, when he's in the press conferences, doesn't give two shits, man.
Oh, no.
He was just like, yeah, like the one guy that's like, you had multiple women, huh? Yeah. And you had one marriage annulled and 2 more divorces. Yeah. Do you wish you made some other choices? Uh-huh. Like it's just perfect. And then the PR lady is just like, all right, we're good. No more questions.
That's wild, man. Those are wild ass questions to ask. I've never. You imagine that happening at like a NBA or NHL press conference? Going to a man's life like that?
Crazy.
Like
just
you
like one after the other.
That's what I'm saying. Yo, Ja, is your dumbass gonna take out a gun again, or are you just gonna actually focus on basketball? You imagine someone just threw that out.
Remember the video of you at the strip club?
Yeah,
you're gonna do that again, like bro,
that's wildness. I don't know. Our what's it called? F1 presses this intense. I might have to watch. I might have to watch the press conference.
That's true. Because there's even the one where they have the managers or whatever, and then the guys like. So what does Ferrari think of Apex GP? We don't.
Yeah, that's with the man sitting right beside you.
Right there.
What's that? That's so crazy. What did he do to you for him to disrespect him like that on camera, bro? You can just be like, you can put him down, but you don't have to put him down like that. We don't. Work. That's crazy. Something
right. Maybe these F1 press conferences are heat, man. We gotta look into this.
Something happened in Monaco with those two, bro. I don't know what.
Facts.
That was another aspect I like too, like that little subtle run-on thing of like, it was at Monaco. Is that where it was?
I think so. Yeah, Revenge for Monaco.
Yeah, exactly. We never learned what it was, but it's just always there. I like that.
But you're right. Like we almost don't need to know what it is.
No, we don't. That's what makes it great.
But it just tells us that they have a past. Like it just adds to these characters and their connection. Because right at the start, right, he comes into the laundromat and he's like, this is my friend and I need you. Like my team is falling apart, and so we have to buy that these two have this past connection, and this is just a perfect little way of doing it. Like even when he's in the hospital and he's just like, "What if you die out on the track? Revenge for Monaco." He's like, that's not even funny, man. But it's so perfect.
It's lore, right? Like we talked about lore back in like our previous episodes of like that's why we like John Wick, because it's obviously not the same thing. This isn't like assassin lore, but it's still like this cool thing of like, okay, these guys were really good. We get a little bit of like flashbacks of them when they were younger in pictures, which I thought was hilarious. Those little
Mhm.
young, like, I don't know, edited, and then even just the shots of Brad Pitt, they put their hair on
Yeah.
him and stuff like that. That was hilarious. But no, just adding this element of like, there's a whole other story here that
Yeah.
like we're gonna give you pieces of, but like you're not gonna know everything. You're not even gonna see really many flashbacks from it, or for any really. We see crash stuff, but nothing of their gambling life.
You know what? I think that now that we're talking about it, that makes me think of like this is kind of another parallel to Top Gun Maverick. And I was saying how this movie deserves almost more credit in that sense because it doesn't have the nostalgia to pull from.
Yeah.
But basically, that's what Top Gun Maverick what like they would say. They talked about Goose, right?
Yeah.
So if Top Gun didn't exist, but you had Top Gun Maverick, and you're like, yeah, this is Goose's son, and like we'd all be like, oh, who's Goose? Like, what happened with
Yeah.
Goose? We don't know what that is, but it just shows that connection, that past connection to this character. So basically, if there was an F1 Sonny,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But like reverse, like so, like a precursor to this, where we saw Sonny and Ruben, we would know what Monaco is. So that would be what it pulls from.
Yeah, it's true.
But they didn't even have to tell us what it was. It was just good enough on its own.
No, 100%. They could make a whole. I don't know what exactly it would be, because the funny thing is when I thought about like the gambling and stuff, I just imagine him in a casino. I'm like, his origin story is Ocean's 11. After he left,
At the Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's.
I was like, I
perfect.
wonder if they thought about that. They realized it's like, dog, you're in Ocean's 11, bro. Let's say you're a gambler or something. You had something to do with the casino. I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
that's
That
right. I
feels
was in
like
a
an awesome
team.
segue.
Yeah, I was in a team with 10 other people. We got busted trying to rob the Monte Carlo, and Ruben came in and saved the day. Also, there's a Ruben character in Ocean's 11.
That is true. Hey,
Maybe this is Ruben Jr. and he's the son of
snap.
Ruben from Ocean's 11.
Maybe you might be onto something.
It's all connected, bro.
It's all
It's
connected.
Sonny's path. He was actually Rusty.
Maybe it
Are we
was,
sure?
man. Maybe it was, but no, I just like that element of just like getting those little stories. You could literally I don't know what the story would be, but you literally could, or maybe in like a novelization of like a prequel or something like that, or like just giving, because I feel like it'd be interesting. I don't know, something
Yeah.
light.
F-Zero.
Yeah,
That's gonna be F-Zero.
F-Zero.
F-1.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I kind of, because this is me calling myself out. I actually, when I saw Top Gun Maverick, I didn't even see Top Gun. So to me, I can go
Really?
back and watch Top Gun now, and it'll feel like I'm watching a prequel.
Wait, so you still haven't seen Top Gun?
No, I still haven't seen Top Gun.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And you love Top Gun Maverick. Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
So do you know what happened with Goose?
No.
Well, good thing I didn't say it then.
Well, I
damn.
think they know. I think they mentioned in the movie. What still doesn't ruin anything.
they?
It's fine.
Okay.
Because like to me now it's a prequel. Because then when you go watch prequels, you already know what happened.
Yeah, you're right.
So now I'm just going back to watch a prequel. I know it's gonna end, but then there's all the little things that lead up to it, and yeah. Top Gun's a prequel.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, fair enough. You mentioned the runtime, and that was a question that I had because there was Simone Ashley had a role as Joshua's love interest, or I think it's supposed to be Joshua's love interest. The director, he kind of said it was not. It was like a will they won't they, just kind of like a connection there. But it was completely cut from the movie, and I was wondering, like, do you think that was a good decision? Like you said, that's already like long enough. Like, do you think that we needed to see Josh and like that side of him, like a love interest kind of side of him?
Was the girl ever in the movie? Like, did you even see her for a
Apparently
second?
Yeah, she's in like the background of a couple shots, but like she doesn't have any speaking any lines anymore.
I think I don't think it, like, I feel like we got enough of Josh. Like I've been hyping up Brad Pitt's character, but I think Josh's character was really interesting too. And we talked about like how things were earned, and like you said, it was hot and cold. So like we got to see his character go through a lot. It wasn't like he just showed up. Like it was Brad Pitt's movie, and then when he showed up, that's when we saw Josh or that kind of thing. Like we saw Josh's life. Like it wasn't only like on the track. So I thought we got enough of him. I think it could have been kind of nice if we got that other element, if it was interesting enough. But I don't think it needed it.
But that's my question is like, if it's interesting enough, like what is the appeal there? Like what does it add to Josh? Like would it be, is he an asshole to her because he's rich and famous, and then by the end of it he sees that, you know, he also he learns the value of teamwork from Sonny. So maybe like that's another thing where he's like, I realize I've been super selfish and just worrying about me, but like our relationship, we should work as a team kind of thing. But like, to me, that's not necessary because we get all the. It's kind of weird to say because it's like Sonny and Joshua, the relationship is like a working relationship,
Yeah.
not a loving relationship. But I feel like it would be the same kind of notes that we're hitting, unless there was a completely different storyline. But like if he starts as an asshole at the start and then becomes a good guy, like we achieve the same thing with Sonny.
Yeah, that's true. But maybe it's just like a different dynamic because we're seeing like an old man go through that dynamic versus like a young person. So I guess it'd be showing a contrast of like this is like young love, like you said, like so a rich person who's young, and these are like the struggles he's going through like in 2025 as an F1 racer. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what the dating life of an F1 racer looks like. You know what I mean? Like you see the aspects of like just that little stuff. I think it could be interesting. I don't think the movie necessarily hurt not having it, but I think you could do something there.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's impossible,
Yeah,
but I think it was a good idea to cut it. I
yeah.
mean, I don't know what it was,
No,
but
me neither. But I'm just speculating. Just about me in my head, I'm imagining what it could have been, and I think it could have worked. But
yeah, you never know.
wait for the Blu-ray into the extended cut. Put it all in on the Blu-ray. I'm gonna watch it
yeah.
like it's Lord of the Rings.
So like Sonny, and his tricks, right? Where he's taking minor damage to bring out the safety car, and when he gets into the pit, and then he waits for the leader to be at a certain point so he could get out just in front of him and block him. Like I think another thing that this movie did super well was it was edited really well,
Mm-hmm.
so that during the races, a lot of frantic cutting back and
Yeah.
forth between different racers, the guys in the pit, the engineers or whatever that are like communicating to them and telling them what's going on. That was another aspect that I didn't know was a thing in F1.
Mm.
But like the frantic cutting to make us feel anxious, like
Yeah.
because all these things, the decisions they're making are like split second decisions, right? So it makes us feel rushed too, like as we're going through it. I thought that stuff was super cool too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought it was done. Yeah, it was done really well. That 100% agree.
I have a question about what you think about, because we were just talking about his girlfriend or this love interest that got cut.
Yeah.
What do you think of Peter? So the board member.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That tried.
What'd you think of his storyline?
I don't know. He was there, and I was like, okay, he's just like a character that's there. And then he started becoming like a crucial part of the story, and I could have done without it. Like it was whatever.
That's exactly what I have. I was like, it was completely unnecessary, and here's why.
Okay.
So Ruben already establishes right at the beginning, right? He comes to see Sonny and he's like, my team hasn't won a single race, and if we don't win a race by the end of the season, they can force me to sell the team.
Yeah.
So that's established, right? They need to win a race. If not, they lose the team. So when then Peter comes in and he comes to Sonny after the crash and he's like, see, like, yeah, I was the guy that sent in those forms to mess you guys up, and I want to have to sell the team, and I'm going to keep you on. Then it's supposed to be like, oh, this guy's trying to get him to sell the team. I'm like, we already knew this.
Yeah.
So like Sonny's like, oh, I have to win so that this guy doesn't sell the team. I'm like, that was already a thing. Why is this guy even
Well, I
here?
guess it was like a heel turn because initially he was like, I've always been on your side. I've been wanting to keep you around, but it was a lie. So then it was just like they just wanted to turn in there, you know, just to have him. You think like, oh no, he's one of the good board members. Like he's looking out for us. And he's like, nah, he's really not. He's just trying to.
Okay, but if he wasn't in the movie and that storyline wasn't there, what changes?
No, nothing. No, exactly.
That's crazy.
Nothing changes. They
maybe
literally just wanted
the
a
love
heel
interest
turn.
would have been better. Take him out and put in the love interest storyline instead. Maybe it was better.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Put it into.
What's your next point?
Take that out and then put that in on the the director's
That's what
cut.
I'm saying. I
want to see that. I'm gonna message Joseph. Actually, let me just.
Okay. Yeah. Give him a call.
Okay.
Give him a call. See what he says.
Send myself a reminder so I can. I got him on speed dial for those that don't know. But anyway, back to the pod.
Well, what's your next point?
What did you think of? You know, what I thought was really cool about this, the fact that he didn't have like talk that much, but the fact that Lewis Hamilton was in the movie. Like, I don't know if you...
But not only him, there was a lot of F1 drivers.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I don't know that many. All I really know is Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah,
so like basically every dude they showed, I was like, I don't know if this is an actor or an actual F1 driver. But Lewis Hamilton, I was like, I know that guy. Like, I pointed at the screen, bumped the dude on the side, like, I know that one. But yeah, seeing him in the movie, I was like, oh, that's cool. Because to me, it's like when you watch, because I'll compare it to basketball. You watch like a basketball movie. They usually, like, when they have like these worlds, it's like they're not living in a real world. Like, we talk about Coach Carter, and it's like LeBron James, I'm the next whatever. What's his name? His name something Crane.
Ty Crane.
No, Ty Crane. Yeah. Like, imagine you took that movie, but you actually had like a top prospect. Like, imagine you had Andrea Bargnani saying that or something. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ!
That's 2006 because that's 2006.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't Andrea Bargnani, but you know what I mean? Like, actually, if that movie actually had who the number one pick was supposed to be in that movie, it adds like realism to it. It's like, oh, that's cool. And like to have like real guys in the movie, it's like, oh wait, no, this isn't some like F1 fake movie. Like, even though it is a fake movie, but like these guys are like in there with the real guys. Like, that's cool. Like, he's actually, it's like the like Mike appeal.
Yeah,
you get to be in the NBA, and you're seeing like, what? That's AI. He's actually in this movie. Whoa, he's actually in the NBA.
Yeah. No, a couple points there. So, you're totally right. Like, having it just makes it feel more authentic. And like, they were shooting at actual F1 events.
Yeah.
So like, all the real racers are actually there. I thought they kind of made it. I thought it was a little more clear of who was an F1 racer or not. The only other one I know is Max Verstappen.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I know him is because he's like, I think he's like the top guy. Like, he's just winning everything these days. But other than that, there was a few, like, you see them come in, they're signing autographs, or like the guy at the end. He's not a driver, but I think he's one of the managers that offers Joshua a spot. He's like, hey man, if you ever want a spot, you know where to find me. And Joshua's like, no, I'm good where I'm at. But like, I could so clearly tell that was an actual guy just because the line delivery was terrible. And I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, these aren't actors. These are actual F1 people. And I'm not going to bash on the guy because he's not an actor. But like, to me, I was just like, okay, this is a real guy.
It is so funny, the fact that we can tell when someone's not an actor. They're just like, they say 5 words and someone can manage to mess it up. I'm not saying I would do any better, but it's just funny how it shows you how it really is a skill and a profession of being an actor, because some people can't even say 5 words naturally.
Yeah, it's just the stiffness, man.
Yeah,
and it's funny because as we started this podcast, we talked about it a couple weeks ago because it was our 1 year anniversary. So we were like, man, just the improvement, like back at our first couple episodes, we were stiff as a board. And like, we're not in a $1 million movie that's going to be in front of millions of people, but it's just, you put the camera on someone, changes everything.
100%. And to give him credit too, for us, like, we put these cameras in front of our faces and there's no one behind us. You put a camera in front of it, and there's like, you see the director, the writer, you see Brad Pitt looking at you, but like, don't fuck this up, kid. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
So there's all that extra added pressure too. You don't want to look stupid.
That is a good point. Yeah. And my last point on Lewis Hamilton, he was actually a producer on this movie too.
Yeah, that's surprising when I saw it in the credits. I didn't know he was a producer on it. Which
I find that I read a lot about the F1A, I think it was called FIA, or like the organizers of F1, how they were very vigilant in monitoring the production process of this movie while they were at actual F1 events, and they went to different facilities, like training facilities and stuff, to shoot actual footage, all this stuff to make sure that no one gained a competitive advantage. And to me, like, Lewis Hamilton being a producer, I don't think he gains a competitive advantage, but one concern that I read about was that they would, like, Mercedes, he's on Team Mercedes, would kind of be portrayed more as like the heroes of F1, like portrayed in more of a positive light than other teams because he's the producer. But they were like, no, they kept it really even. They don't really say anything about any of the other teams.
Sure.
Really.
No,
it's
they
all
didn't.
about Apex.
That is a good point too. Yeah, they didn't. Which is something that I didn't even think about till you brought it up. I could see when you said competitive advantage, I didn't know what you meant. I was like, do they mean like they're worried about like Lewis is gonna be like while they're filming, like looking at other people's cars, like on the side and stuff
Right.
like that, or
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
using, but more so just about like a popularity thing. We're just like almost just making a team look really cool and like building fans through the movie. But you're right, it was
Yeah.
very
Like if you have
neutral.
a villain, you could have a villain, like have
Yeah.
the Ferrari guys be the villain of the movie, and it's not really.
Yeah, no, it's true. It is pretty even like that, and it made me interesting too because when I saw that he was a producer, because for those that don't know, the difference between like an executive producer and a regular producer, like usually executive, they're just dishing out the money and they'll come and be like, all right, cool, everything good. But producer, which I think he had more of like a hands-on role in the sense of like he wasn't just like, here's my cash, here, make a cool movie. Like he was in there making sure that Brad Pitt and Sonny and Joshua, both their characters seemed realistic. You know what I mean? Like that actually how like a driver would talk, or is that what they would do? Or like, nah, like he even gave like I forget Joshua's the actual guy's name that played Joshua. What was the actual
Damson
actor?
Idris.
Damson. He was saying that like he actually gave him feedback because apparently his character was acting a specific way. I can't remember what. I think it was a little more cocky, which is funny to think because he's pretty cocky. But he's like,
Yeah.
nah, like a rookie wouldn't be like that. Like even like because like I remember like when I was younger, it's just like even though you're confident you're there, there's still this element of like doubt and like, man, am I good enough? Like you still kind of show it for the camera and stuff like that, but like you have that doubt, and like that was portrayed well in the movie. Like it was clear where he'd be off and on. It's like this cocky guy, but like when you're watching him, you could tell it's like now this guy's scared. He's scared the team's gonna get sold and that like it could be over for him. But like front facing to everybody, he's like smiling, chest up, and all that stuff. And apparently Lewis had a role in that because apparently he was just more cocky and didn't actually have doubt.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's more the moments with like his mom and his cousin Joshua. Like those are the moments where he kind of shows that doubt, where like he's talking to his mom right at the start. He's like, "Yeah, if we don't do well, I could lose my seat, and then no, if I go through a whole season and get no wins, then no one's gonna pick me up, right?" So like,
Yeah.
but you're right. When he's with the team, and especially when he's with Sonny, he's got to show, and Sonny can't show weakness to that guy. And whenever there's cameras on him, he's the big flashy F1 driver. But I thought it was, I think Lewis, something else that he might have added, because I was actually looking for this in research. I was like, there had to have been some consultants on like the rules. Like I said, the agency or the organizers around F1 were involved in the movie, so maybe they had people like helping them out with the rules. But like just the fact that like Sonny on like the first race, right?
Yeah.
He goes out and he's like, "Oh, my car won't start," and then he comes around late. And then they're like, "Oh, this is a perfect advantage. His tires are warm," and everyone was waiting for him. And I was like, "This is sick!" Like, I didn't know that this was a thing, but someone had to tell them that this is a
No,
rule.
100%.
You know what I mean? So
And I looked into that. It was him. Like he added to that element, and he also was like the middleman. Like he talked to the CEO of F1 and was helping the convincing of all that. Because like that stuff gets in the way, right? Like you're the CEO, like you don't really care. Like, oh, can we make a movie about your thing? It's like, is he gonna get involved with my business? You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to run these races, do all this stuff. So like he was in there being like, nah, this is a good idea. Like I think we should do this. Like I'm gonna make sure that they do everything right. They're not gonna make the sport look whack or anything. Like it's gonna look legit. And I'm gonna make sure that it seems authentic. Like yeah, like that's why I looked at it. I'm like, damn, this guy had a big part of the movie. It wasn't even just, and he was barely in it, which he didn't need to have like some talking role or anything like that. But like he was barely in it. But like seeing all the behind the scenes stuff, I'm like, this movie doesn't really like work out the way it does without his help. Obviously, there's a lot of pieces that come involved, but like the movie doesn't come off as authentic, and they don't get the like to actually be at the places and stuff if it isn't with his help. I don't believe.
Subtle. That's a freaking power move. Just call up the CEO of F1 and be like,
right?
"Hey man, we should make this happen." And then that's pretty tough.
That's what I was.
But like so when he gets his tires warm, the damage bringing the safety car out. I loved that scene. I have a note on this because it's not my best scene, but it's like a runner up, I should say. So I wanted to show it some love. So it's that first race with Sonny in F1. And like when he keeps getting the damage, and then the mechanic, he's like, stay ready. And then he goes the second time, and the lead mechanic, he's like, I know, stay ready. And I'm like, yes. They're all being galvanized by the team. And then right at the end, when Josh was in like 9th place or something, trying to get a point in the top 10, and he needs a 3-second pit stop, And then there's the girl that messed up like a couple weeks
Yeah.
before, and she's like, "I'm ready to go. I'm ready
Yeah.
to unscrew this tire." And then they come in, and again, shout out the editing. It was cut quick.
Oh yeah.
He comes in, lift up, boop, boop, boop,
Yeah.
bop, bop, and then 2.99, and he's out there. And it was crazy.
That's
sick.
absolutely so dope. And it's crazy when like I already knew that whole pit stop thing was like a fast thing, and I've seen like I said, I've seen it in cars, I've seen it in this, and I've seen it in like what's it called, Ford versus Ferrari. But like with the way they displayed it right there, it really made me think. I'm like, damn, did they really do that in under 3 seconds? They're doing so much. It is insane. They're literally, it's like it's a human machine.
Yeah.
Like they're just a unit.
That was something that I think was could have very easily been under communicated throughout the movie, is like the role of the pit crew.
Yeah.
Like, right, you have your two big guys in this movie is Sonny and Joshua, right? And it's them feuding against each other. You have Kate, you know, and her role in the love side of the story, as well as her contributions to the car.
Mm-hmm.
You have Ruben kind of dealing with the business side of things. Like, you could very easily have just let that stuff fall flat. But we spent a lot of time in the pit, and with Sonny like talking to these guys, and they're all going on these runs. Like, we see them go on like 5 different runs.
Yeah.
Like, that didn't need to be in there, but like just the fact that they show like, yeah, this is a big team, we're all working together. Like, that's something that I didn't really know was that involved in F1. Like, I knew it was a big team in the pit crew, but I didn't know the drivers were all like with them. And maybe it's not exactly like that, but I don't know. To me, like the amount of time that we spent in the pit was pretty cool.
Yeah, because you realize it should be a family environment, and like in the sense of like, especially if you're the driver, like these people are like literally have your life in their hands, so you don't want to be pissing them off. You know what I mean? Like they'll be like half-assed, but like, nah, screw this guy or whatever. Like obviously they're gonna be professional, but if you don't like someone versus you like someone, you're gonna be a little more careful with the things that you do at work and stuff like that. But like if dude comes in there, he's a jerk to everyone. Everyone's kind of just like, ugh, I guess we gotta help him out. Like I don't, obviously I'm professional, but. It's an interesting thing. Even like the running aspect too. Like part of me was wondering, like, do they actually all like run together? Like I'm not saying every team runs together, but I understand, like, is it like a thing to have community within your little team there? I don't know.
Your team, I would assume so.
To
like team morale is a thing, right? And like you say, like if you care for the driver or the team president or whatever, like you're gonna go that little extra mile. And when Sonny's like, no, we need everybody here to be involved. If everybody on this team can add just 1/10 of a second, that adds up to 1 second a lap, and that is the difference between first and last. And like that's crazy. Like the margins of this sport. That's pretty cool.
It really is insane. And like we mentioned Kate, this is the first time we actually mentioned her, and her job, I didn't even really know was a thing. Like that's a crazy job. Like she's analyzing the wind and all that stuff. Like,
I mean, obviously someone is like the lead mechanic or the engineer or whatever, and she even talks about her background. It was in like aerospace design and like all this stuff. Like,
well, to me it's more so that
makes sense.
Like I knew there'd be a like a lead person, but just the fact that like she studied, like I didn't even really know that was like a field to study. You know what I mean? It's like something you take for granted. Like again, this goes into my love for fitness. Like I know about sports. Like I really like what's it called, sports science, in the sense of like you're seeing like verticals and stuff like that. People watch the NFL Combine, like they like those kind of things, but seeing it for like a car, and the fact that someone's studying like the wind, and like even her cute little thing of just like, it's like, you're supposed to be make my car faster, but you ride a bike. She's like, well, I gotta feel the wind. And I'm like, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, but even just the difference of that little piece that they change, right? That little wing on the side of the car. And like, as soon as the rules guy comes and he's like, no, you gotta change it. It's under review or whatever, so you have to go back to the other one, and it just like messes up the entire race. One little piece, like the difference in it. It was also hilarious. Freaking Ruben in that scene, he's like, "No, you can't take us. You can't make me do that." And then he walks away. I'm sorry. Come back. Javier was great in this movie.
Oh, he was great. That had me dying too. I'm like, this man. You immediately were like, all right, snap. Let me just bring my. I almost lost myself there.
Oh man,
no, that was great.
All right, well, I got to all of my points. Do you have anything else?
Oh, like any like facts or anything like that?
Any facts, points?
I will have a question for you. Did you know the difference, like the main difference between like F1 and like NASCAR?
The shape of the car, and the fact that NASCAR is a circle or a rectangle and F1 has different tracks. To me, that's the extent of the difference.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think majority of that, it's like appearance wise, like the way like they're different. F1's obviously like a global thing, and NASCAR is only literally in the States. And
Yeah.
to me, like I thought it was all kind of like one thing. You know what I mean? Because like my friend Emma, she's like a huge F1 fan, and like I didn't really I don't know if you ever heard the show Drives to Survive, like a Netflix series. That show was one of the
No.
most. It's like a kind of like a follow like Gridiron Gang type thing, basically, but for
Okay.
F1. And that show was like
Yeah.
one of their biggest shows, like all time. Like it's up there with like the most viewed shows. So, like the what's it called? They grew a lot of fans from that. I heard it's really good. And like literally she watched that show and immediately became an F1 fan. To the point when I said that she was watching like a NASCAR show or whatever, she stopped me and be like, it's F1. Like, there's a difference. I'm like, oh, my bad. It's like I said, it's like the way she acted is like I said, oh, she's watching the NFL. I'm like, oh, she's watching the CFL. No offense to the
Yeah.
CFL, but it's
I
not.
know what you mean.
Yeah, I thought she was basically that, and I was like, okay, I didn't realize there's a difference. It's like whole different game, just like the CFL too. Like it's like
Yeah,
a
you're right.
completely different
Different
game.
rules.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Still the same sport, but
Right.
it's just a different game. And I was like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was even communicated a little bit in this movie, like when Joshua's like when he meets Sonny for the first time and they're kind of sizing each other up, and he's like, "Well, how many races have you won?" And he's like, "Well, last week Daytona." And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I meant real racing, F1." It was like, "Damn,
Yeah,
that was tough." But then Sonny hit him with, "Oh, well, then same as you."
yeah,
That was
yeah. That
that
was a
was
hard line.
incredible.
No, and that moment too, I thought of Emma too. I'm like, damn, it really is like that, right? It's F1 or it's nothing. My bad, bro. I thought I thought it was all the same thing. Well, not all the same
And then
thing, but I thought it was closer.
that led to a line I wanted to shout out was Joshua saying, "Your mistake is thinking that I'm gonna be some grateful kid that'll bend the knee to an old timer. I climbed a mountain to get here, bro.
Yeah,
F1,
that was
tough."
hard. That was a
Not my
tough
favorite
line.
quote, but one that I
Yeah,
wrote down. See, like especially when we go through a new release, so you only have the opportunity to watch it once. Anytime there's a bar that kind of like, if it hits, if it's just like, damn, that was tough, or like that was funny, or whatever it is, I rate it down. So now I have also a bunch of honorable mentions that aren't my best quote, but
yeah.
it's just great.
No, that's fair. I don't do it like that, which I probably should. Sometimes I'm scrambling. I'm thinking about
Interesting.
like, what's the thing that just stuck with me? Like I don't even write down a quote. I'm like, if I hear something, I'm like, bang. But sometimes if I actually hear it and like then I was like jot it down quickly. But other times I'm just like, all right, I'm focusing on like a Ferris right now. I'm not thinking about
Yeah.
whatever it is. But no, that was a hard line. The only reason that if it wasn't in the trailer, it probably would have been like my quote.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
You're
still a
right.
hard line, regardless. It's just I saw it in the trailer, so like when I heard him say it, I was like, I knew he was gonna go there. Still a
Yeah.
great quote
That's
though.
fair.
Still a
That's
great
fair.
quote.
All right. Do you have anything else?
No, we can get right into the filmies.
Let's do it.
Let's get in there. Yes, it's that time. It's time for the filmies. And for those that are new to the show, the Filmies a part of a show where we give out 6 awards to the movie we just watched. If we both get the same award, before we get the same award, if we both pick the same award, it is verified as certified. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Verified is it's certified.
It's certified. Yeah, it's certified.
It's certified.
Our first award that we have is our Ferris Bueller Award. And for those that don't know what the Ferris Bueller Award is, it's an award, aka our Lazy Award. It could go to a writer, it could go to a director, it could go to anybody. It's just a moment in the movie that we thought was lazy. All just in jest. We don't actually think it's anything that ruined the movie, but something funny we wanted to point out. So, Scott, who gets your Ferris Bueller Award?
My Ferris Bueller Award goes to Chip Hart,
Okay.
who is, I had to look up his name. I don't even know if they say it in the movie, but anyways, he's the owner or the guy that runs the team that Sonny races for at the start of the movie at Daytona.
Okay.
Like the first scene, right? When he
Yeah.
does this overnight 24-hour race, which I didn't know was a thing, but so basically he gets my Lazy Award because he sent the guy to go get Sonny with 5 minutes before he needs to be into the race. The guy, Sonny's chilling in his van. The guy's knocking on the door. Sonny, you got 5 minutes. He's like, okay, I'll be out there. 5 minutes? The bro's supposed to be behind. We know that in this business, in this race, like a fraction of a second is a big deal. You gave him 5 minutes of notice. Like, if there's 30 minutes left and he's not near me, I'm sending someone to go find this guy. You don't know where he could be in the bathroom. He could be. You don't know where he's at. 5 minutes, crazy.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I didn't realize the time was that short. Like I remember the dude knock on the door and tell him to come in. I didn't realize it was 5 minutes. That's crazy.
Because that's what, when he knocks on the door, he says, he's like, you got 5 minutes. Because remember, he gets out. He has this, like, there's a whole POV walk. This girl gives him a hat or something. He gets this movie star kind of moment. Then he walks in and everyone's like, okay, you're going to do this, do that. And he's just like, whatever, I got it. Don't worry. Hops into the car and just beats everybody. He takes the lead. As soon as he gets out, lose this lead and I'll kill you. But he only gave him 5 minutes, which to me is like, you should have been looking around 100%. Before that.
100%. That's a great. When you said who with your 6 minute, I was like, who?
yeah, exactly. That's what I had to look it up. I knew that it was what's the actor's name? Shea Wiggum. I was like, okay, I know that's who it is. So who's his character? Chip Hart, apparently is his name.
Chip Hart. All right. A good 6 man. I mean, it's not 6 man, a good Ferris Bueller. My Ferris Bueller I gave to Ruben. And to me, like, I didn't find it like through the viewing. I had to like sit there and think about it. I'm like, what was really lazy in the movie?
Yeah.
And
sometimes you got
to do that. And to me, it was not doing more research into Sonny's injury, because he knew, like, he's like, which I actually liked the thing that how they had him. He was like, how much you in debt? Like, he's crazy in debt, 350 million. Like, damn, like that. Like, and I liked his reasoning, and that he's coming back to an old friend and all that stuff. But from what we know, like, these are boys, right? Like, that's like, I like that little bit too, where he came in and he was like, oh, you look like one of my friend, but he was better. He used to dress better. And I was like, oh, is this real beef? And then it turned into them. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is cool. I like how they did that. But that's supposed to be your boy. We're establishing that's like your boy. You're telling me that you saw the injury that he went through, and just because you didn't see the records, you didn't think to check before I asked this guy to get back into this. Even though I saw him go through that disgusting injury, I'm not gonna check to see if he's okay first. And to me, that's lazy.
That's fair.
It took this guy like 20 years to be like, I didn't know your injury was that bad, dog. And you came to ask me if I wanted to race for you. You didn't even check to see if I'm good first. You just wow.
And he was so quick to blame Sonny and be like, you didn't tell me. What if you die on the track? I'm gonna feel terrible. It's like, well, if you fucking check,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do your research. What the hell?
That's a great point.
How did you find me in some random bar, but you didn't check about my injury?
Yeah,
did more research there.
I feel like if you're being recruited to be a racer, you got to go through a physical. There's no way.
Oh, 100%.
There's no way.
Maybe that's the fairest. Maybe that's the fairest.
Didn't put him through the physical.
He didn't go through a physical. They didn't put that in because I was like, I don't know if he'd pass a physical.
Either way, double lazy. He didn't check, and then he didn't do his due diligence when he was hiring this driver. He's like, nah, that's all right, Sonny's coming in. We're going to check him. We're going to, hook you up to all this stuff. We're going to check your breathing, all this. And Ruben's like, he's good. That's my boy. He's good.
Come on, Ruben. Come on.
Come on, Ruben.
All right. Our next award we have is the fit check. So who gets your fit check? Pretty self-explanatory. It's your favorite or worst fit of the movie.
No, there was some fantastic fits in this movie. I gave it to Ruben. It's funny you literally just mentioned it was when at the laundromat when he picks up Sonny and Sonny's like, yeah, that's my old friend, but he used to dress better. I was like, dress better? This guy swagged the fuck out. That's and his response to it too. He's like, this is a Gucci suit. So that's my favorite fit. It's the orange Gucci suit. He's got the sunglasses on too when he walks in. It was fresh. It was just a clean black shirt underneath. It was clean.
Yeah, it was hella clean, which is why it is also my fit check. Hey, certified fit check. I had to be, bro. When he came rolling through in that, I'm just like, I thought the exact same thing. Which, like, just to dress better. What do we? I didn't even need to know it was Gucci. That he was wearing that, bro. That shit was clean. That was my
Facts.
first award that I figured out in the movie. Immediately when I saw it, I'm like, fit check.
Same. I mean, it's funny because the first note I have is the 5 minutes thing.
Yeah.
Because that's literally the first thing that happens in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't decide that was going to be my lazy word. I was maybe just going to say it as a funny point. Like,
Yeah.
damn, they only give him 5 minutes. But I didn't find anything else that was like super lazy. So I was like, okay, that'll be. I like yours, but you're right. The first one that I was like, okay, this is most certainly my fit. Josh almost stole it from a couple times. He was getting some fits off.
Do you have a specific one that or you don't remember it?
There was an orange like puffier jacket. I guess I fuck with orange.
Okay,
but he came. But
I don't think you've ever worn orange on the podcast. I don't know. Now we have to do some research. You probably wore orange. Yeah, so you're right.
Honestly, probably not. I don't have that much orange. Does anybody wear that much orange?
I don't know. Apparently, you want people to wear more.
Yeah, you're
orange.
Right. We should be wearing more orange out in the world. It's pretty fresh. But I don't know. It just to me, it just because it popped. Like he was wearing a lot of just like sleeveless white shirts, and like he was always had that shit on. He always had the sunglasses because that was his thing, right? He's really obsessed with it. Not obsessed, but he's really into his image.
Mm-hmm.
So he just he always looked good, but nothing that topped Ruben's fit. In the
definitely not. That's why I was certified, because it was a great fit. I didn't no thinking twice about it.
Yeah, it's undebatable. It's
undebatable. Our next award we have is favorite quote. We kind of talked about this earlier, is talking about the quotables. But what was your favorite quote from the movie?
I gave my favorite quote to Kate.
Okay,
and it's when her and Sonny are talking about kind of how she got started in F1 or whatever. He's asking like why she's here, and she says, "Ruben sold me on the idea of fighting to the death over 1/10 of a second, traveling the world, the roar of the crowd." To me, I was just like, this is a fantastic ad for F1. Yeah. Like they were like, Lewis was like, okay, slip this line in here. This is what's fantastic about F1. But to me, it was also, I was just like it was selling me.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that sounds freaking awesome. And now we've already seen a couple races, and they have the crowd juiced up. They have like the commentator that's only commentating about our two guys.
Yeah.
But like, I just chalked it up as like all the other parts of the race where they're talking about other people. They
just didn't show us.
Don't have
that's what I assumed
we
too.
don't care.
No. Apparently, those are real announcers too. Those are actually like the announcers from F1. Perfect. Which is imagine, they were No, sorry, you're gonna say something?
They were gassing me out. They were getting me ready. I was like, yo, this is dope.
No, 100%.
I want to watch an F1 race. 100.
It'd be like if we got a basketball movie. I'm always gonna throw the basketball as like a comparison, but just like if we got Ernie in a movie calling a game, I'm like, yo, they got Ernie,
Mike Breen.
Yeah, you imagine we got a Bang in Coach Carter.
If we got a Mike Breen Bang, bro.
I'm getting goosebumps. Anyway, that's what
I'm saying.
That is a great quote. I like that. That is getting me hyped up. Not only is it an ad for F1, it's almost like a ad for people to go do this job. I'm like, hey, if anyone wants, we need some employees. This is what we're fighting. Yeah. We're going to war for a minute. I want to do that
for 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, I want to forget being an astronaut. I want to do that. That's crazy.
100%.
That's a good quote. My quote I gave to Sonny. Very just straight up quote. This one was one just because like I was bouncing between a couple quotes, and when he turned to, it's when they were sitting at the table and they were talking about strategy, right? And then I can't remember exactly what Josh said, but he said something along the lines of like, oh yeah, and then I hope this, whatever it is, and Sonny says, hope's not a strategy, and I was like, ooh. That's a hard line. Just straight up. It's just like just a little bit. That could be on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Hope is not a strategy.
My only it was a tough line, but my only pushback to Sonny is not even to you, but to Sonny would be like his whole thing is plan C, right?
Yeah.
They always come into these races. They're like, okay, plan A, we're going to stop at lap 12 and then we're going to stop at lap 42 and we're going to go medium, hard, hard. Well, they have their strategy. And then they're like, okay, and plan C. And then he comes in and he's like, okay, we're going to muck stuff up. We're going to fight dirty. We're going to do that. A lot of that I feel like is improvisation. That's not
that's not hope, to say. Though.
You're right. That's not hope. But what I will say is like, okay, like even one of them is like, what's plan C? He's like, drive fast. Is that any better than hope? Drive
Did
fast.
Did you say plan C would drive fast?
I'm telling you, bro. One of them, they were like, okay, we got plan A, plan B, and or maybe it was like any last notes from this guy.
Well, yeah,
or whatever.
because the next line after that, because when she was like anything else, Professor, and then he was like drive fast.
Oh,
That's when he said drive fast. Yeah.
So he's like, hope's not a strategy. Okay, so what is the strategy? Driving fast? Yeah, fuck you.
It's not hope though. It's not hope. He's not saying
right.
I hope. I hope the ball goes in when I shoot it. I hope. Nah.
Is that
it's
so? That's
in.
worse than saying, all right, what am I going to do out there? I'm going to drive fast. Yeah, that's what absolutely everybody is doing.
No, but it just sounds hard. It's just like, what if they double team you? I'm still going to score. You know, it's just saying that. It's like, what if they double team you? Well, I hope I can get to the rim. You know what I mean? Like, nah. You just hope's on strategy. It's like Mamba mentality. That's what I took it as. Even though I'm not a big Kobe fan. Just bang. Right. Just straight up. I'm wearing my Brady jersey. I GOAT. If anyone else doesn't know, GOAT. And his thing, so his whole thing
glazing Brad, you glazing Brady.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's the movie's about an old timer who's balling. So I had to bring out the Brady jersey, and he has a hard line too. If you're explaining, you're losing. It's like that same kind of energy, you know. If you're explaining,
I should have worn my Mahomes jersey.
You have a Mahomes jersey?
I don't have a,
I was gonna say,
no, I don't have a Mahomes jersey.
Oh, it just has beef. Okay, no, it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
We good. 7 rings over here. But anyway, that was my quote. Sonny.
Okay. Yeah.
Sonny.
Right. Hope's not a strategy.
Hope is not a strategy. Next award we have is our Sixth Man, aka our Peyton Pritchard Award. And Sixth Man is basically, it's like we wanted to give another award to someone who had a smaller role in the movie, but basically just someone that is a stepping down. And I don't want to say step down, like it's not as good as the MVP. MVP is the top dog, but if you win Sixth Man, it's still great. You still accomplish something. And we want to give some love to someone who wasn't quite the MVP, but they deserved a little shout out in the movie. So who's your Sixth Man?
My Sixth Man goes to Hugh Nickleby.
Okay.
Who is the character. He's Sonny's race engineer. So the ginger guy that was like in his ear, like talking to him during the races. Yeah. That guy. It's really just for like when Sonny, again, in the same moment of your quote, I don't know if it's the exact same time, but it's like a pre-race strategizing meeting. And he's like, no, we got to build our cars for combat. And then we're like, okay, let's get out there, combat. And then he just like starts going,
yeah. And he's just like, I don't know.
Like he just starts the combat chant. I was like, hell yeah, that's my guy.
I like that. That was a good part too. Especially him like opting into it's like, I don't know. I saw it in a movie once.
pretty much.
And that was good. No, I like that.
And then everybody starts doing it. I was like, hell yeah,
100%. That is such like, it's such a movie thing, but it got acknowledged too, which makes it even funnier. It's like, I don't know if you've seen Dead Poet Society, or at least you've seen, Captain Mike. It's like that kind of thing. Like no one would ever do that.
Stand up on a chair and just like,
exactly. No one would ever do that. But it's just like, it'd be funny if like in that moment they're like, I guess we're doing this. I don't know. But no, that's great moment. Well deserved Sixth Man. I didn't. I didn't end up going the same. It's not certified, but that's still a great one. I'm mad, honestly. Like if now with hearing your conviction for it, I'm like, that probably should be certified. But I wasn't planned for that. I did a little bit of an audible here for my Sixth Man, because as we were talking the conversation, I actually built up my case for Lewis Hamilton. I felt like,
honestly, when you were explaining all that stuff, I was certain that Lewis Hamilton was your Sixth Man.
No, he wasn't. Like, and now I'm gonna give it to him, because I feel like as I talked myself into it, I'm still gonna give my honorary of who I thought it was. But yeah, basically all the stuff I was saying about him being so heavily involved as a producer, as I mentioned earlier, like those are all the reasons I feel like he definitely should be a Sixth Man for this movie. Because like I said, he was barely in the movie, but is the behind the scenes stuff that he added to the movie that was great. I mean, it made it
like
authentic.
You said, it might not even have been made if he didn't convince the CEO.
Yeah.
So like I didn't know all that stuff, that behind the scenes. Had I known that, I maybe would have given my Sixth Man. I don't know. I was pretty excited about giving it. No,
you're just great
to Hugh for the.
You're just great.
Combat.
Our Sixth Mans don't have to be for the same reasons. There could be some funny stuff or some.
No, of course.
But that's great. My honorary that I was gonna give it to Bernadette, like Josh's mom. I liked her character. I like the fact that they had that addition of like having his mom in there. And I just like the emotional touch points that she hit. Like she had like the humor in there with the, especially like they put it. I wish they didn't put it in the trailer. Just like her seeing like Brad Pitt's post. She's like, I thought you said he was old. It's not that old.
Yeah, I feel like Brad Pitt has that written into his contract. He's like, no, I need an old lady to like say I look good.
100%.
You know what I mean?
I think Leo has that too, because in freaking Don't Look Up, the same thing happened to it. It's like, oh damn, that's a handsome,
young man.
Yeah. I'm like, I see you. They probably got that. Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe it is, but and then like the moments when she was like tough, like when she got in like Sunny's face and stuff like that, and then also then she's got to see the other side of her, of like seeing her just be like a loving mom and stuff, and just like have it like I just thought she was really, like, I don't know what the actor's name, the actor's name is, but
Sarah Niles.
Sarah Niles.
Right in front
yeah,
of me.
I thought she was great in that role. So she gets my honorary six man. She was my original six man before I audibled to Lewis Hamilton. I'm sorry, but
she's your seventh man.
She's my seventh man.
She no, you're right. I think that was a good addition. Like even him and it, like his cousin.
Yeah.
Where he's like pushing him to be like do the marketing, go to clubs, like all this stuff, and eventually he's like, nah, man, like I'm just not doing that. Like all this the more human side of Joshua, because we talked about, he's putting on this persona when there's cameras in front of him, even when there's no cameras, but he's in front of the team, he still wants to look confident and juiced up. But when he's with his mom and with his cousin, that's when he can be vulnerable. So that's that side of the story that gives us more, makes us feel more for Joshua. And she's a big part of that. So good half pick, I guess.
Thank you. Our second to last award we have is best scenes. So what was your favorite scene from the movie?
This was a tough one. This was a tough one. Basically, to me, I was like, which race was my favorite? Even though there's a lot of good scenes outside of the races too, but I gave it to the final race, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I mean, it was the culmination of, like I said, the old versus young, these two guys coming together, Sonny and Joshua working together to get to the top was cool. And then there's the red flag, which like stopped the whole thing. Which I thought was super cool. Like to me, it just threw a wrench into the scene, and it was not something I expect. Like all the other races scenes, like it either they continue going through it until the end of the race, or they make contact and they spin out, and then the race is just over for them and it cuts. Like this was like a pause in the middle to almost have us like sit in that tension.
Yeah.
Right. We're like, okay, they're in the top 4. Are they going to be able to win this thing? Like they have to win this thing, right? If not, they sells a team. We have guy upstairs like drinking with those rich people, and it was kind of funny when he's like cheering for them failing, but like trying to make it seem he's cheering for the team. That dynamic is kind of funny, but like the fact that they paused us in the middle of the race and had us like sit in that tension, I thought that was really interesting. And then again, like kind of showed us the rules of like, yeah, there's a red flag, but because of they didn't qualifiers they didn't do something, so they can have fresh tires and these people can't, and this is going to make all the difference in this final sprint. And then I also like the very end of the race when Lewis and Joshua spin out. So Sonny's taking away the win, and then they just go Sonny's POV. We're not even seeing Brad Pitt. We're like mounted to the car. There's no sound, and we're just driving the car and we're winning with Sonny. And then we got Joshua cheering with the fireworks behind. It was so dramatic. Like there's nothing like real about this, but like it was just a culmination of everything. I love it.
I mean, it's just classic movie, right? Like that's
exactly
like
cinema.
Absolute
cinema.
Exactly. And you now I can't get out of my mind, and not even like a bad way of just like now constantly thinking about like Top Gun, because Top Gun has that same kind of feel too. Like it's very dramatic, and it's just like, but that's why you want to go. That's why we go to the movies, right? Like this 100%. Is like, it's funny because we talk about how authentic it is, but it's also so dramatic at the same time. But it's like I want it to be drama. I want it to be dramatic. That's why I go to the movies. I want it to be dramatic. I want it to look great. I want it to sound great, and I want interesting characters. And this movie, I felt like delivered on that, and that's a great scene, which is why it's also my favorite. And mine actually, it's I shortened it down. I completely agree with you. Like I enjoy that whole scene, but there was a specific part of the scene that I vibed with, and I think there's a little bit of a bias here. And as I explain why, it's the flying scene You know what I mean? When like he
Oh yeah.
talked about earlier about the moment of just like he's chasing after that thing. Like that's his motivation. Like why do you race? And they tease that throughout the whole movie. Like that question is kind of like, why are you doing this? You know, it's not about the money. Like what is it about? Like
Mhm.
the what's it called? The waitress asked him that when
Yep.
he was at
Yep.
the bar earlier. So like then he talked about like, oh, I'm chasing that flow state, basically is what he's saying. I'm chasing that moment where I just feel like I'm flying. Like I haven't got there. I haven't felt it in a long time, but like I want to get there again. So like they hyped it up, and you assume that you're gonna see it in the movie. I didn't know, and you don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't know what the state is. I don't know. You could have simply just done the thing of just having the zoom in of his face and having him cry or whatever it is, or just I don't
Mhm.
know, just show the moment like a classic slow mo shot of happiness, something like that. But to me, it was having the drone shot, and like I have my own drone. I love flying my drone, so I can appreciate a nice drone shot. But in the moment, I wasn't like, this is a drone shot. I was just like, this looks so dope. Like you're getting to see the bends on the track, and you're just slowly like going through it. And the choice to like have such minimal audio, like you just kind of like hear just like the whistle. You know, like it's like the feeling of like if you were like
Yeah.
skydiving or whatever it is, and then they remind you too, because then like, what's he doing? And then like Cage's like, he's flying, and
He's
I'm like,
flying.
oh, like that's so
It's,
hard, bro.
oh, it's so good, man.
Oh, that got me hyped. I was sitting there, I was like, he is flying. Like,
You started
yeah, I
levitating out
started
of your
levitating.
seat
We're
over
all flying, bro. Look at us, guys. Put your arms out.
there?
We're
Yeah.
flying, bro. Oh man, I loved it, man. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's why I said the same thing. Like just Sonny's POV as he's like, you're right. I think cutting out the sound was good. Like there could have been like even the crowd. Like you don't even hear the
Yeah,
crowd. You don't hear any. Like you say, you just hear like the wind blowing, as if like he had his helmet on and all of his comms were cut off, and he's in that
yeah,
flow state. He's flying, man. It was. And you're right. The visuals were super cool too because it really puts us in that because it's so hard to visualize. Like when we see it
yeah.
zoomed out, like on it doesn't look like they're going that
No, it really
fast, even right.
doesn't.
And then they're like, "Yeah, you're going around that corner at like 300 kilometers an hour." I'm like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, that is insanely fast,
It isn't. I
insanely
heard someone
fast.
saying like I might have to go because they have an F1 track in Montreal. We got to go to one because I've
Yeah,
heard
man.
people always say, which is like anything. I feel like especially this one, it's like it's one thing to watch on TV when you're there and you hear the sounds of those cars zipping past. It really puts you into perspective of like, yo, those guys are going fast. You watch it on TV and it doesn't
Yeah,
really look like it. It's the same
right.
equivalent of when I went to an Orlando game and like Eloise's dad hooks up with good tickets. So we were sitting pretty close. And at this point, I was like, because our Orlando team is tall as hell. Like Paulo's
Right.
6'10, Franz is 6'10, Isaac's 6'10, Bull was on the team at the time. So then I was like, oh my God, these are monsters.
Yeah.
On TV, they all just are all tall and they all kind of just look normal because they're all tall next to each other. But then you actually see a collection of 6'10 dudes together. You're like, God damn.
Yeah, and it's when the reporter comes on the
Oh
court for
yeah.
like and it's like this 5'4" woman and she's like holding a microphone 3 feet above her head and it's just like, geez, these guys are
It's crazy. And that's
giants,
what this movie,
giant.
like, I definitely want to try to go check a F1 race now, just depending on I don't know what the tickets are like, but
See, the only thing to me is like you can only stand on like one part of the track, right?
yeah.
So you see them zip by like
I think it's just like
for
it's an
3
event kind of thing.
seconds.
I think
I mean,
there's
the
music.
atmosphere I'm
Yeah,
sure
that's
is
what I mean. I've
cool
heard the
and
atmosphere is cool. Like there's
yeah,
always stuff going on. It's like because you're not just
yeah,
like locked in on the race because it's like literally hours. You watch the race, you go by. Like I think that they got like music performances and stuff like that. People are doing like whatever. I think that there's all this like there's a whole like thing that goes around. There's like a whole. I think it's like baseball. You know what I mean? Like baseball games are long. People go there to day drink. I'm sure there's a lot of
yeah,
day drinking during F1 events.
yeah.
That's for sure.
It's like golf too, like going to watch
Yeah.
golf.
No, exactly. It's just like it's just a
That's fair.
chill. It's just chill like that. But then obviously when it gets down to the nitty gritty, like the last
Mm,
couple laps, then people are like, oh, we got
and
the
you're
last
locked
couple
in.
laps are coming up. We gotta lock
And
in.
then that red flag is flying, and only two people
Oh
can
yeah,
change their tires. They got fresh tires, and one of those is Sonny Hayes, who's an old timer that is trying to get the win for the first time. And the two people need to win. If not, Ruben's gonna have to sell the team. Cinema,
there we go. There
cinema.
we go. And last but not least, we have our MVP. So who gets your MVP for the movie, Scott?
My MVP is Aaron Kruger. who wrote the screenplay. So, you know, I was talking about kind of like I literally just laid out all the things that went into this final scene that gave us all the juice and made it absolute cinema. And that is all written into the script. You know, we talked about how much the two different people, the two old and young thing working together, like forming the bond, how it felt earned. And it felt earned because of the moments that the characters went through that is written into the story.
Yeah.
And the races were all different and they achieved different things for the story, which is like, you know, like the first one, like I said, we're kind of learning, okay, Sonny's, how is he going to win this race? He's old, but he's using these crafty little tricks to work ahead. The teamwork that was worked into different races. And then we have them working together. Then we have them pissing each other off. Like each race was in there for a reason. Like none of them, I was literally coming into this movie, like it exceeded my expectations. Like I wasn't that excited to see this movie. I was excited for it, but I was like, I don't know how good it's going to be.
Your bar wasn't your bar wasn't really
exactly.
High.
Yeah, like I was expecting the races to be in here just to like look cool, just to be like, look at this cool race cars going super fast, which is like Top Gun. Like a lot of it is like, look at these dope fighter jets flying around.
But like, they also tell stories really with cool. Every time they fly, there's always some. That's what to your point. It's like we're not just going to give you races. There's going to be a story to every race.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So like adding that into the like it could have very easily been like, okay, we're gonna have story. These guys off the track pissing each other off or working together or whatever. Let's give you a race to get some cool action. Now we come off the track, story. Like no, it was all written throughout. It flowed super well. Like it was just greatly written. Like I said, all the stuff that like was bubbling up throughout the movie and then finally culminates in Sonny flying. Fantastic. Great. Amazingly written. Loved it. Aaron Kruger.
That's great. That's a great MVP. Well deserved. And I almost gave him my MVP too. I almost gave my MVP. I struggled with it because there's a lot of elements of this movie I liked. So I was like, oh man, that's like, sometimes you watch a movie and you just knock it up like that's the MVP. This one, it definitely wasn't that. I had to like really sit there and like think. I'm like, I ended up giving it to Joseph Kosinski, like the director of the movie, and for a magnitude of reasons. Like he was also involved in the story. I mentioned that earlier too. So is that aspect. Obviously, there's a lot of people involved. They had like Lewis Hamilton, Brad Pitt. They all have like these like specific elements, and we try to figure out what. But you got the main writer there, so I'm gonna give majority of like the actual story structure to him, and then he also because he's got a great past of writing other stories too. So that's a great pick. For me, it was him pushing to get the IMAX cameras in there. That was part of his idea. I saw that online, so I was like, okay, I got to give him some props.
You didn't even watch it in IMAX.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to. No. Earlier I mentioned that I was trying to. Right, the timing just didn't work out. You're acting like I was like,
he pushed this movie IMAX cameras.
This movie doesn't deserve IMAX. I'm not gonna go see it. It's not an IMAX movie. I never said that. I established earlier that I said I wanted to see it in IMAX and I couldn't, and I was upset about it. And my girlfriend tried to make me feel better about it, and it didn't.
Hey, good for her. I respect
she
her.
Tried.
She tried.
But I'm cheese. I'm gonna go see another movie in IMAX tomorrow or something, make myself feel better or something. But but he was it was his idea to do the flying thing. Like to have the drone shot doing the fly thing. So like that, when I saw that too afterwards, because that was already my scene, and I was like, was that his idea or did someone else come with it? Like just because like you're the director doesn't mean someone else could have been like on set. Like the DP could have came up with the idea. So then maybe I would have been leaned towards the DP just because I've been liked that shot so much. But it was like, no, it was his idea. He had that vision in his head and he wanted to try to figure out different ways to shoot it. And I'm like, ooh, well, it was my favorite scene, so I gotta give you some love for that. And apparently there's a couple alternate endings, and we kind of joked about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a couple alternate endings. We joked about the things that got cut out, and apparently it was. I feel like this could with the potential of this being a sequel. I don't think it needs to be a sequel, but I'm kind of curious. I'm like, the way it ended kind of could be a sequel, but what is the alternate ending that really had as a sequel? Is it like him joining the team and being like, all right, let's see if we can win another or something like that, or
that would be very much setting up for a sequel.
The way this one ended, though, it kind of ended like you could still just pick up.
You can,
and just create another story.
I mean, it could be the same thing. Like Sonny's driving on doing these desert races, whatever those things, those dune buggies or whatever that he went to race. And
it's a crossover to Dune. That's where he's going.
He runs into Paul Atreides.
He was in Ocean's 11. He went into this movie, and now he's gonna be in Dune Messiah. Hey, I'm calling it. If Brad Pitt's in Dune Messiah.
Well, Javier Bardem's going to be.
That's true. And he's going to be like, bro, I haven't seen you in forever.
Yo, Sonny, what's up, man? And he's gonna be driving a worm instead.
God.
And he's gonna get the flow state riding a worm. It's gonna be fantastic.
F1 worms, bro. That better. Come on, Denny. Denny, I know you listen. We shout you out all the time on the podcast. So I know you listen. Squeeze that into the next one. I don't care if that's in the book or not. Just squeeze it in there.
Yeah. Did you see? I'm going off the page here, but we're talking about Denis. Did you see he's gonna be doing the Bond? He's gonna be doing Bond.
Yeah, I got hyped. I think I put that in the story.
That's pretty sick.
I think it did. But I got hyped about it. Eloise is really hyped about it because she's a huge James Bond fan. Besides like the Harry Potter movies, I think, and not even just Daniel Craig. Like we watch all of them. Like we like every single James Bond movie. I haven't seen them all. I think she's seen majority of them, but like every now and then, you want to watch an old James Bond movie? Yeah. So, and then she loves Denis. She's from, what's it called? Quebec. And he's famously Quebec director. So, and her favorite movie is Instant Z. So the fact that one of her favorite movies director is now directing her favorite series, she's over the moon right now. She's not here right now, but she would have stuck her head over and been like, yeah, I'm hyped.
We gotta have her as a guest on that episode.
Oh, true. Yeah, if we 100%.
Won't be for a while, but
no, but 100%. Or just a James Bond movie or something, whatever. Any of those.
True. Yeah,
should be 100% down for that.
But did you? So the alternate endings. Do you know any of them?
No, it's not publicly. I was looking for them. After I saw that, I was like, okay, well, this article can't just not give me what the alternate endings are.
It'll come out later. A little bit later. The movie
just
came out, so they're not going to do it right away, but. It'll come out later.
No, it'll definitely come out.
So any guesses then on what it is?
I think it's just the thing I said, possibly. Like you go a bunch of different ways, but it's just like join the team and you end it with that like, it's like that classic, like it's almost like goofy in the sense of like, let's do another one. And then right to credits. You know what I mean? Like, or it's like, okay, that's very much, you're going to get a second movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about this movie is like, it's very dramatic.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be out of place for that.
No, definitely wouldn't. But I just think when movies end like that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
when it's
like the edit of the first Transformers.
Oh
where it cuts to the directed by Michael Bay.
It's a Linkin Park song. Yeah, I forgot the lyrics, but yeah,
100%. Yeah, exactly.
No, 100%.
That would have been fantastic.
No, it would have been great. But yeah, that's my MVP. I liked your MVP, and that's the Filmmies. I don't know if you have any other filmy notes you gotta. No.
Well, we've gone through all of our awards.
Okay.
That's unless you have another award. So sometimes we throw in a random.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have any random awards this week. I'm sorry.
Me neither. So that's gonna do it for us. But hey, that's what are we? 2 certifieds.
2 certifieds. It's impressive.
Yeah.
One of these days we'll get.
Like you said, we're always.
And one of these days we'll get a clean sweep, and we'll freaking we'll have to do something crazy. That's almost damn near impossible. Probably.
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way.
But at least maybe we get like a 5. If we ever get a 5 out of 6, a 4. Okay, let me be optimistic. Like a realistic. I mean, what's more realistic, 3 or 4?
Well, obviously 3 is more realistic just because it's less.
Well, I don't know. I guess. Yeah, I guess that's true.
In order to get 4, we need to get 3.
Yeah, you're right.
That's how the numbers work.
Yeah, take that out of the podcast. Edit that out. Edit out that question.
No, we got him, guys. We got him on record being an idiot. So perfect. All right. Well, yeah, I don't know. When we get 3 or 4, we're gonna have to do something. I feel like we might have even had.
I think we've had. That's why I want to say 4. Let's make it 4. 4 is like a target.
Right, we'll make it 4.
Like we're not pushing for. Like I wonder if Scott would pick this fit check. I'm not gonna be doing that in the movie. I'm gonna let it be organic. And if it just happens, I'll get hype. I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. We'll figure something out. But if we get 4 certifieds, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know what your certifieds are too. Like if you're in the comment section on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. I mean, Instagram probably wouldn't make any sense, but Spotify or YouTube, if you're all listening on either one of those things and you want to shout out one of your awards, throw it in there. It doesn't have to be every single one,
no.
but just one.
Because if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, let's say,
You can't comment though.
Sure,
Can't comment
that's
on
what that's what I'm saying. So go to Instagram.
Oh, okay.
And throw it on
just
like
some random
the
thing.
post.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Well, the post that we post every Wednesday when the episode drops.
That's true.
Just throw it on there. Be like,
yeah, 100%.
Man, how was your quote not freaking when Kate said? Actually, I'll throw it a runner up when he was like, "Wait, we're gonna play poker? This guy used to gamble for a living. Yeah, now he's living in his car."
yeah, that was hard.
There you go. If that's your quote, send us a comment.
No.
So great work plugging the socials, Dion. That's exactly what I was going to do next. Be sure to follow us if you want to be part of the family discussion or family meeting. Sorry, not the family discussion. Or just for absolutely stellar 5-star content. We're on Instagram and TikTok at the Film Room Pod. YouTube, like you said, Film Room Podcast. Be sure to leave us a review. 5 stars, baby. 5 stars, baby.
5 stars.
And be sure to check out Reely. We played the game early in the episode. It's pretty cool.
No, it actually is really cool.
Honestly.
I actually haven't done today's Reely, so I'm actually kind of excited to... Well, when this episode's coming out, I'm referring to like today, not the day this comes out.
True.
But I haven't done today's Reely, so I'm definitely going to do it. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
Definitely try it out, guys. It's not even about like doing it really fast, too. Like if it takes you long, then it takes you long. It doesn't matter. It's about the journey.
It could be a challenge. You could try and get the longest one.
Yeah, like this. Remember didn't they say one guy did like 300 or something crazy like that?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
Crazy.
I'm not there yet. No,
I'm not there.
yet.
I mean, no, you did a perfect one. You had 3. I had like 7. But
no, but that's what I'm saying. Though it's not about how long you do it. Sometimes it's even more fun because it's like a joke. It's like, oh, how can I save myself here? You know what I mean?
Good point. Yeah.
I just went
if
one.
You're crunch for time, though, try and do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Quick one,
if you're crunch for time, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's gonna do it for us. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Dion, take us home.
I want you guys to remember, F1 was great, but the one thing it was missing is when Sonny pulled up at the end of the race, when he was like in that dune thing. What we should have saw in a side reveal is Don Toretto. And it should have been it should have been a 10-second race, and then Don says start your engine or something like that, and then boom, that's your Fast and Furious reference of the week. Take a shot and peace out.
Peace out.